So, are you here for the Lockdown Edition too? Because it looks like I got some mighty fine competition.
Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Report Reviews. My name's Steve.
My name's Ernest.
And today we'll be going over the Robot Spears Pacific Rim Uprising Side Jaeger Titan Redeemer.
Side Jaeger, does that mean he's an extra, Steve? He's just a side guy. He doesn't go up front.
Exactly. he's that piece on the side, you know? He's not your main piece.
Oh.
He's not part of the main line.
Well, that sucks because he's my favorite Jaeger.
Really? I figured you'd like the other one we're going to be reviewing. We're going to do both of these reviews today anyways.
I don't know, just from the package, he has a ball chain on his hand.
He does have a ball chain on his hand.
You can't go wrong with that.
That's why he has a lack of accessories. He only has one actual hand. He only comes with one extra hand. So he's already failing me. But anyways, just want to point out for this video, we haven't seen Pacific Rim yet. It hasn't come out yet. So if you're going to comment anything about news-related stuff,
shut up.
It's correcting. Again, haven't seen movie yet. Dates. So, this review is just going to be solely based on this figure here. I know nothing. He has a ball chain. It comes with a little guy. But anyways.
Wait, a little guy as in a monster or a little guy as his miniature self?
He comes with that little, like, makeshift Jaeger that you see in the trailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the Devastator looking dude. He comes with that. But the main reason I picked this guy up is because I love the first film. So I imagine the second film is going to be great. So I have literally everything I pre-order. That's cool looking giant robot. So then I just love the Robot Spirits line. So I'm hoping this guy is as good as my other Robot Spirits. Granted, he's definitely cheaper. Like Gypsy Avengers runs around 20 bucks. This guy's 30. So I have my doubts. It's probably going to be a little bit more closer to a stateside figure, but mostly like the same joints and stuff, I'm assuming.
Robot Spirit, Steve.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
It's a Japanese toy, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, without further ado, for the packaging, again, it's got more of a stateside kind of appearance. Grabbing this loose Dragon Ball Super box. You can kind of see that they're similar in design. Because it's like, as you can see, it's designed to sit on a peg and stuff, and to me that just kind of just screams like this was really, really meant to show up at Toys R Us's. Which, hey, guess what? Where I found it. But for the rest of the package, you just got the blueprints of the Titan Redeemer on the top, image of, I don't know if that's the toy the way it looks. Maybe. Could be the one from the movie. Side of the package just gives you his name, Pacific Rim, Robot Spirits. Opposite side, more photos of the figure inside the packaging. Number 230 in the Robot Spirits line. Back of the package, just him in some dynamic poses. Shows the little Scrapper. Is that his name? Scrapper Jaeger minifigure. Neato. And some stuff I can't understand. Some Lego mumbo jumbo at the bottom. So let's get him open up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we got Titan Redeemer open up out of his cardboard prison, first we're going to start with accessories with Scrapper.
I see why it's called the Scrapper. She's just being a scrapyard. Look at that thing. Well, I think I've seen better toys come out of the freaking like Walmart boxes. What is that thing?
It's Scrapper. He's kind of like a mini little Devastator that one of the girls pilots. Then I'm assuming is the pilot of this guy too. Like progressing through the story, she probably pilots this one. That's why the figures are kind of tied together. But for Scrapper here, he's just metallic silver plastic. That's pretty much about it. You get some add a little detailing, so you can see some of the armor plating, some of the makeshift parts. His feet definitely are not the same.
You sure?
Between the two. Same with the arms. You got like that little scooper. And on the opposite side, that kind of looks like a hand. Could be like a...
This guy will be amazing for you, Steve.
Like a rake?
This guy will be amazing for you because you can just clean out your kitty litter with that scooper.
Oh, sweet. And then he has like the body of the Hulkbuster armor. He's like the Hulkbuster with like random makeshift parts.
Well, I feel like this was made by like a 5-year-old kid.
I don't know, like detail-wise it looks good. It's just like paint job, like they just didn't bother.
No, I'm talking about like being put together as like a 5-year-old.
Well, you see like a little kid pilots it in the trailer.
It's just like, I want this, Daddy, and this.
That looks cool. That looks cool. Let's put it all on a robot. It's very 90s, right?
Yeah.
But for this guy, I
feel like
I want to say this is supposed to be articulated, but I don't want to rotate it too much because I fear ripping the thing, and it just kind of goes back to where it was.
I feel like it belongs in Power Rangers.
Like I said, it looks like a Transformer. Looks very Transformer-esque to me. Like something Michael Bay would put in a movie.
Oh, God.
And then moving on to Titan Redeemer. He comes with one fist and then a open hand for gripping onto other Jaegers. And how you swap these out, if it'll ever focus back on the camera, is you just want to pull straight from the forearm. Pops out pretty easy as I smack into the camera. And then this goes in a little bit at an angle, so it's kind of awkward. Because you kind of see where the ball joint socket is. So you just got to line it up. Push it in. And good to go. And it just like, it sits back a little higher. Which I kind of like because it just feels more natural when he's trying to grab onto like a tentacle or an arm of another monster Jaeger.
Hey, whoa. This isn't a hentai, Steve.
It could be. Have you seen this thing?
Nietzsche, no.
Exactly. So, moving on to a closer look at details, we're going to start with the giant mace arms thing here, right? With all the spikes all the time. One thing I love about this is these are actually a little flexible. Because one thing about robot spirits generally is that the little spiky protrusions on their Gundams, Evas, mechs, you name it, are generally hard plastic. While with this, you definitely, going into this figure, they do that kids would play with this. Like, if it's going to show up in, like, Toys R Us's and a lot of stateside places, and with the popularity of the movie and definitely being geared towards a younger audience, I feel. Like, we love it, too, but...
Steve, shh. We are the younger audience. Shh.
I wish I was. But they definitely took that into consideration here, so that it could actually be messed around a little bit without having to worry about these longer parts snapping off. The smaller ones feel like they're a little bit firmer, but I don't like, with all this on here, I don't really feel like this is super breakable unless I like smash this on the table or this thing falls off like a top shelf.
That is a bad idea for design. You shoot that out and it gets stuck inside of a monster, you're being pulled towards that monster. And you see the size of that guy? Like, there's no way that's going to be helpful in the battle.
I feel like if this thing was stuck in me, my day probably is the worst it's ever been, right?
I mean, you've seen the size of him, right, in the trailer. He's huge. Like, that's nothing to him. That's like you step in.
Well, that's like boss battle kaiju. Like, normal-sized kaijus, I imagine this thing's pretty adequate. It's definitely better than what we got Eternal Alpha with. Like, he's just punching him. His special ability for Eternal Alpha was to punch things slightly faster. Because he had a piston for a fist.
Don't you make fun of his piston fist.
That's all he had, though. It looks cool. Like, granted, it looks cool, but it's the stupidest ability.
You guys heard him. Steve's making fun of him. That's unacceptable.
Well, no, I'm not making fun of him. I'm making fun of Eternal Alpha. Like, Eternal Alpha looks cool. Honestly, probably one of my favorite Jaegers, to be honest. But, again, his fist thing's stupid.
All of you 10 Russian viewers, put your fists up with me and aim them at Steve. That's unacceptable. I love that guy.
Anyways, this seems way more adequate. Well, we haven't gotten to the next Jaeger. We get to bash him, too. It's fine.
Oh, sweet. So I get to review the guy then.
Sounds good to me. But yeah, it looks really cool. It doesn't come apart, though.
What?
So it's permanently attached to the Jaeger, which is fine. It can rotate.
Wait, you're telling me there's no button on the side that you press and it shoots out with a little chain, and you push the button again and crawls back inside of his arm? That's unacceptable.
I want to say it's a $30 toy. Get what you get. But then again, it is $30. So, but mainly what that is all the detail, mold, and articulation is what kind of bumps up the price on them a bit. One thing I wanted, because we haven't gotten Gypsy Avenger yet. I have to wait for him to come in because he's on order. These guys I actually found. But I'm curious why these guys are $10 more than Gypsy Avenger. Like, he might be a smaller Jaeger compared to them.
That wouldn't make sense, though. Why would he be smaller when they should be in scale to each other, right?
Well, he just might be, like, smaller in the movie than these guys. So that's why these guys are slightly bigger price. But, again, won't really know until we get the figure anyways. And I haven't really watched anybody else's reviews because I don't want to be tainted for our reviews anyways. Well, I guess tainted is not the right word. Like,
Steve is tainted.
Have an opinion already going into the video. But for the rest of the Jaeger, for his head, kind of reminds me of Lockdown. The Lockdown mask from Transformers, the one we don't talk about.
No.
You know?
No. No, I don't know.
But this,
keep it that way.
This giant yellow visor on the front for the eyes.
Don't bring it down.
I'm still trying to figure out if it's a paint job. It looks like it's just the plastic, but it has this dark metallic green throughout the entire body, but it has these little swirls in it, which I don't know why. It just kind of throws me off a little bit. Like, especially since I'm so used to the NECAs that it's just like smooth, clean finish with like little imperfections in the paint, which kind of helps to add to the realism, I feel.
NECA did it better.
But they have metallic swirls here and there. Like, you especially see it on the arm here. And it just seems kind of odd. Like, I was just, like, picturing this guy to be just plain stagnant armor. Because you can also see it here on the gray, too. That has, like, little swirls inside of the coloring.
I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but you can definitely see it.
Yeah, but they do have some added detailing here for the shoulder areas with the yellow striping here. You got the yellow arrows pointing upwards. On the back, nothing really going on, which is kind of to be expected. But for the top of shoulders, you get a couple of little nubs on the sides here. These are slightly loose to help with the articulation a little bit, but nothing too much. Front of the chest, you got these little holes on the front, which I wonder if those are actually like guns or something.
Maybe.
Like maybe they go pew pew. Not 100%. But you got the front armor plating here on the stomach area with added little armoring on the sides. Moving to his arms. Not really a whole lot to really go over. The only noticeable thing is on this side, it has this little pipe thing right there. While on the opposite arm, it doesn't actually have that. So I'm assuming that has something to do with the ball chain.
Maybe that's my button that you're supposed to press to release it and come back.
I don't know, maybe it's like the gas chamber, so that's how it kind of fires out of them in the movie. That's a really tiny gas chamber, though, if that was the case. I'm not sure. Maybe because I wouldn't hold the cable either, I wouldn't think.
Nope.
So, yeah, I'm not 100% what that actually is. It's weird. On the back, you get some vents. Well, it kind of looks like a porthole, sort of Evangelion-ish. On the back of the spine here, moving down, you got some more armor plating for the back sectioning here. For the legs, pretty basic mech with some added little supports here on the bottom of the feet to help them stand a little bit better. And yeah, just overall, cool looking mech. But yeah, just definitely, I don't know, very lockdown from the movie.
He is.
Like, lockdown with the ball chain, for the most part. But for his articulation, head can look a little bit up, a little bit down. You can articulate the lower neck joint. So
I don't know, he can do some pretty cool things.
He's got some nice jives on the top of his head. For his arms, can go up about that far. We'll just go forward and back. Not the craziest, but he does have a joint here on the inside of his shoulder, so you can drop it and move it a little bit more, which helps with the articulation. Also a little bit of rotation at the top part of the shoulder. And his arm can go outwards about that far. So not the craziest articulation. Definitely, maybe could he... I want to say like it would have been nice if there would have been a joint here, so you could rotate the shoulder.
Then it would have looked weird.
It would look kind of weird, so I guess I'm okay with it, but just food for thought. For his elbow is on a double joint, so you do get a pretty decent bend. No real rotation there. For the spike ball, can rotate all the way around. Other hand, can rotate all the way around, but not too much play with them for the most part. For his waist, can go a little bit forward and back, a little bit side to side.
He's got some
no
movement.
real rotation though. Legs can go outwards about that far, inwards about that far. Can rotate a little bit at the top part of the thigh. Go forward about that far. Backwards about that far. Really nice double joint at the knee. So a lot of play there. And the feet can rotate all the way around, forward and back, and a little bit side to side. And for some quick comparisons here, we have Bracer Phoenix compared next to Titan Redeemer and Scrapper. These are the only ones I got for the line at this moment of this recording. So eventually we'll have all the Jaegers together.
Yeah, they're coming in.
Sooner or later. And here's Titan Redeemer compared next to some NECA Pacific Rim figures with Coyote Tango and Hardship.
The one that everyone's been asking for. He's right there, you guys. There he is.
You're welcome. Maybe if this would probably be like a Geek Chest thing if we ever actually went back to doing him. But one thing I want to point out for this video, when comparing the NECA figures, is I feel like the NECAs have a little bit of a better paint job, to be honest, than what we got with the Robot Spirits, and they're definitely much larger. But where the Robot Spirits figures win is just overall accessories. The articulation I feel is definitely better, and overall quality is a little higher. And here he is compared next to some Monstars figures with the 2014 Spitfire Godzilla and the 2017 Anime Godzilla. And here he is compared next to some more traditional Robot Spirits figures with the Wing Gundam and Death Scythe Hell Gundam from Gundam Wing. Just want to point out these guys are a little bit better in terms of what they come with and paint job, but these guys also run you like $50-ish each, while he only ran 30. So I kind of get where the give and take is. So overall, of the Robot Spirits Titan Redeemer figure, I think it's a really solid figure for the price point.
I feel like we already hit the rock bottom with these figures, so the next ones we do, we're just going to have to go up. Because you can't go any further down, you know what I mean?
What do you mean by that?
Just talking about like the lack of the paint job and like the guy's backhanded and designs of these guys.
We haven't gotten to him yet. You can't talk about that one.
I'm talking about it. It's just everything seems like to me it's a little bit off. Like I wish at least like the ball chain would have came off, you know? Or you can at least stake it off or something. I just feel like they went a little lackluster on these guys.
Well, the thing is, it is an import figure. And like comparing it to other Robot Spirits figures like we showed you with this video with the Wing Gundams, or Gundam Wing. Well, one was Wing Gundam. Anyways, like if you look at just the difference in the paint job and the color variety, much different.
Yeah.
But then again, those are also more expensive figures.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like at this point in time, I would have just paid the extra $10, $20 and should have just got a solid, amazing figure.
Because I feel, for me, like everything's there that I want for Robot Spirits fundamentally. Like with the articulation, plastic quality, and overall just design, it's a Robot Spirits figure, which makes me happy. But because they kept it at a lower price point, it doesn't have quite the same paint job as what I see with some of the other Robot Spirits, and same with accessories, which until you've seen the movie, don't really know what they could have really came with. Like the thing that I'm probably most disappointed with this figure is Scrapper. Because it's just literally just a hunk of gray plastic, which is like cool but kind of unnecessary. But let's compare it to say NECA, the NECA Pacific Rim figures. I feel like these are definitely an improvement over those, even with the less paint job.
I feel like if these two companies combined and made a Pacific Rim figure, it would have been amazing.
Because I feel like that's probably what we're getting with the Shigoken. Actually, after doing this video, I'm kind of curious to see how good the Diamond Select ones are going to be.
Yeah.
Because I know they're definitely going to be larger figures, but if they they could be the truth if they have a better paint job and have the overall same amount of articulation. Then we got something special. But for these figures, definitely at the price point, I would recommend them. Especially if you're really into Pacific Rim and love Japanese figures. These are still really solid options.
Yeah, because they're still only $30, and that's not bad for a Robot Spirit.
Yeah, definitely for something imported, this seems pretty reasonable. Now, again, I'm going to still say this. The Sailor Moon figures are still the best Bandai figures to buy in terms of quality and the amount of accessories they come with.
Steve.
Same price. Best thing ever.
Steve, not everyone is into 14-year-old girls like you are, Steve. Let it go.
If you watch anime, we're all into 14-year-old girls.
No!
Even you!
That's not true. Ryoko Matoi is like 16, 17-ish. And her sister's older, so she's like 18.
They're still in high school. She's not.
It makes it
They're
better.
both underage. No, it's not better. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up Titan Redeemer? What's your favorite Jaeger? Is the original set just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer picture of these guys on our Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. We also have a Patreon account with exclusive prints for the channel, also down in the description. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.